everybody, and welcome to Music Real Talk with Marbin. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe. Alrighty.
Are we also live on YouTube?
We're not live, no.
Oh.
We're just recording for tomorrow's sake.
Okay.
I got a great shot where we can see our feet. This is what destroys piano players in the post-acoustic era.
In the rock world.
You can't see people's feet when they're sitting down and take them seriously. You gotta have like a shot of from here up, right?
It would be better if our feet won't touch the ground.
Yeah. For those of you listening, we're just shaking our legs and showing you our socks. All right. So
what episode is it?
This is episode 28.
Are you asking or saying?
I'm saying and asking at the same time.
I have no clue.
It's 28, I believe.
Cool. Bandcamp Friday.
Today. Oh, yeah. Today is like, we're recording this the day before, but today...
So in the future.
In the future, it will be Bandcamp Friday, the day when you buy Marbin stuff, T-shirts, vinyl, books, anything your little heart desires. It will, 100% of the proceeds will go to us.
More is More Volume 2 is about to be gone. More is More Volume 3 has another like 400 copies left.
We're not even close to
yeah, so go and get it.
Yeah. So,
well, we never toured with it.
All right. I'm going to have to open up what's referred to as a can of worms. This is going to be kind of a special episode. It's going to be the Marbin origin story.
Well, it probably will go somewhere else. I thought about the subject. I figured we were going to bring it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, we talked about a bunch.
Okay, so this is the story of a special boy named Elad Muscatel, and he was the guy that actually introduced me and Danny. This week I got a message from him, and he was upset because he was he called, or he left me a voicemail, and he said, "How come you guys never mentioned me? Because I introduced you, and if I didn't exist, you guys would never have known each other." And first of all, it's not true. Like, I've mentioned it a lot of times, but when you do podcasts and
interviews, I told him that. I told him to Google it.
You can't do the same thing like every time. Because people that interview you, the funniest thing about podcasters, like and most of them, like when they get you in a room, they're like, I'm gonna ask you some questions nobody's ever touched on before. So how did you guys meet?
Yeah, when did you start playing guitar?
What's your family musical?
What are your influences?
Yeah, it's like shit like that. It's like, oh my God. And you just need to like take the question you're given and spin it.
Like a politician.
Yeah, spin it to exactly what you want to talk about, like, which is nothing to do with that shit.
It's the opposite of politician, because a politician will take an interesting question and will make it just boring and about nothing. And we try to do the opposite.
That's pretty accurate. Actually, I'm looking at the camera now, and it doesn't look like the Mevo is on. Like, it's not doing the cool zoom-in shit. I think I fucked up somehow, but I'm not sure how. That's a bummer. All right, next episode's going to be more interesting filming. Right. I didn't turn that feature on. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking that I don't know who introduced Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, or Django Reinhardt and Stefan Grappelli. Or maybe that it doesn't even matter very much for fans of the band. But anyways, I don't want to be too much of a...
Well, I was thinking about it, and I'll tell you what I thought about. I thought about how he does have some... Okay, so is it going to hear it, you think? Or?
I don't know, but let's talk freely. I mean, I feel like some...
Okay, so I thought... We started playing together in 2007.
Yeah.
And we had a different band called Babagage with an American drummer, and he introduced us, and we started playing, and me and you clicked right away. And we played some originals, but we didn't. We played the day after we met, so we played mostly we played some Scofield tunes and Pat Metheny tunes.
Really, our interpretations of them, because we were so bad at music individually and as a band, that like I'm not sure if it's like.
If the songs were accurate,
yeah, or like even in the ballpark. I mean, it sounded like it was just children.
Yeah, we played
We were
like
just kids. We just played like kids.
Yeah, we played Vital Tectones
Yeah, we tried to play a Vital Tectone song.
Yeah, we did all that stuff. And when we very quickly knew, we have two of us wrote some songs and.
Yeah, we stopped playing covers and started playing originals.
Actually, that's also an interesting thing. So one of the things with this, I'm gonna take a detour for my long point.
Okay.
So he said because he wrote Danny, but when he wrote me, he sent me, both of them sent me screenshots basically of what the other guy is saying.
It's like, could you believe that? Can you believe that?
Exactly. Yeah. But he said that he helped write Volta. Yeah. Which is not true, because Danny wrote Volta. Okay, it's one of the songs.
Well, it brings up a good point of what it means to write something. Like, if you're a bassist in a band, and every time if you're coming up with a bass line, have you written the song? Do you deserve some sort of credit?
I was ready for this specific thing just because we had a lot of band members, and some of them brought it up.
Right.
And what we tell band members basically is that we get the credits for the songs. And if you want to give suggestions and you want us to listen to them, then you have to understand that those are our songs.
Right.
And you don't change a note or decide on a hit, and this is now you're a co-writer of a song.
Exactly.
So if you're not okay with us taking your idea, then just, shut fuck up. Basically.
Yeah, and then play what we tell you. And I'll come up with a bass. I mean, what he specifically said was, I came up with the chords for the solo.
And also that one note in the melody,
G, B minor.
And then one note in the melody was on the beat, and he said it was syncopated. Even though I remember I was the one saying it, syncopated.
It's a long time ago.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Well, that's exactly what. But I never thought to say that I wrote Volta just because, even though all our songs we give the credit to Marbin.
The true thing is that, it's really, first of all, the energy of the conversation reverted me to a very young mindset, high schoolish in my mind, because when you're starting out and it's like the first incarnation of your band or being in a band, everything is so chaotic and the roles are so
not defined,
not undefined. Exactly. Yeah. Where nobody knows how to stay in their lane, nobody knows what's allowed, what's not allowed, and it's like now when you enter our band, so many things are just obviously the way they are.
Well, we know what to tell people immediately. Like I said, with the idea with composing or whatever, of suggestions. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't let people even think that's because they made a suggestion or change the chord or whatever. It means that we're going to be co-writers of a song.
Sure.
It's just not the way it works.
Sure.
And they used to do something called points.
Right. That's how Pat Metheny Group was. Paul Wertico, for coming up with parts, would in his contract get points, 2 points for the song,
which is a point percentile or whatever.
A percentage of the royalties. Yeah, basically something like that.
But since the pie is so small right now with music, it just makes no sense. It's like Dani and we make no money, so it makes no sense for us to give a percentage of the music for somebody to somebody that came up with a bass note and is no longer in the band for 12 years. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
You say it brought you to a young set of mind, but it brought me to an old set of mind, because I was thinking that for him, he probably sees everything that we're doing, and he sees our social media stuff, and he sees all the albums, and he feels that without him it wouldn't have happened, that he has a part of it, but not a big part, but he said he feels like what he was writing you is basically that he feels like we ignore his part.
Yeah.
Even though he's instrumental in that. And, I thought about it, and I thought he has a tiny point, because he wasn't that he introduced us, and that mostly was his part. But
that brings me to that mindset. If somebody went back in time and killed Hitler, then my grandma and grandpa would have stayed in Europe.
Yeah, and your parents wouldn't.
And we never would. Yeah. And I wouldn't exist.
I told her if a monkey, if your grandpa wouldn't climb that tree, with your grandma. So
exactly. It's tough when you because everything is instrumental and everything in that frame.
but some things are more instrumental than others,
Sure.
right? And if I'll give an example, if you have Churchill, right? Everybody likes Churchill. Well, maybe
Everybody
not
loves
now.
Churchill.
Everybody loves Churchill, right? Because,
Yeah, nothing is popular
but it's not like
as European white males these days.
yeah. So Churchill was instrumental in defeating Hitler.
Sure.
But he wasn't the only one doing it. Without the soldiers, nothing would have happened. And when even the soldiers, we need somebody to get them supply, and somebody needs to be a mechanic to make the cars and all that stuff. So everything is connected.
That's assuming that Hitler had soldiers.
Yeah.
If not, it would just be a fist fight.
Yeah.
Between.
Between Hitler and Churchill, yeah. Probably Hitler would win.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Hitler is smaller, but he probably is crazier. He fights dirty.
Probably
like
better shape too. But
that German crazy eye thing going.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so it's true that everything is connected, but also some people are more instrumental in getting stuff. So, and when I was thinking about other people in our band, like Justin and Ian,
Right.
Ian.
For me, they were much more instrumental. They actually put in the work.
Yeah,
I mean,
we toured like
insanely.
in crazy conditions with them too.
And Lawler and Greg too. That was the hardest time.
Greg and John, when we would do a clinic every day and never sleep in a hotel. We never slept in a
It was the
until 2015.
And every show wasn't like awesome dive bar. It was awkward as fuck, venues, like with 3 people in the audience.
Yeah, with Greg and John, it was in some ways it was easier than it was for us, especially when it was with Justin and Jay or with Justin and Ian, because things were starting to go. But for them it was terrible. We were always Diamond members at Choice Hotels once we started staying at Choice Hotels, other than that year.
Yeah.
Because we stayed in hotels maybe twice.
Night.
Maybe twice.
Well, it was that awkward stage of having a band where there are like 3 people in a big venue.
So everybody feels bad for you, so they invite
take
you home
every night.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was thinking is that time period of when we met, in my mind, feels like 3 minutes.
Not even
before we start. We're talking about a time period of that first band incarnate. I mean, it really wasn't Marbin. It was a totally different.
We played more.
thing.
You said it. We played more Gypsy Jazz shows in 2020.
Yeah, we played more Gypsy Jazz backyard shows during COVID than we did at that formation of the band.
Yeah, way more.
Yeah, because it's like because we were young, it feels like epic in a distance kind of way.
But even that, to me, doesn't feel that epic because it's nothing compared to what we had with Justin and Ian afterwards traveling in the States for the first time.
Yeah, that was the most, to me, that, if I think about my 20s, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Me too. It kind of deleted that period in Israel.
Yeah, because we were approximately, I guess, not really, but kind of approximately that same level, especially cognitively. You know what I mean? Of just being young, still staying up and hanging out.
Yeah.
Really kind of being, not yet being disillusioned with how things, we were just discovering how the world is. Every place we went to, we got to for the first time. It was different. And it wasn't like, Israel was a very shielded experience.
Well, you came
because
home.
We knew how things
we
were.
We both
there.
lived at home. I was just after the army. You came from Berkeley.
Right.
So we stayed home. It
was like being kids, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Our family would come to the shows.
Yeah, we did
friends.
We did some. Yeah, the shows were kind of weird.
Yeah, cafes. And
we
shit.
didn't really try, and it's not like we tried to get famous in Israel. We just tried to do something.
Yeah. Well, we tried to get it going, whatever it was.
Mostly playing, but it wasn't like.
Yeah.
Like in the States, where we tried to get an audience, we tried to go somewhere where was a trajectory. But
and the truth
is, in Israel, there was no trajectory.
We even made an album that we never released because it was so shitty.
Well, it's not really an album.
Yeah, we just went into the studio and just
put a 57 and in a room, basically.
Yeah, but it's like, we couldn't get it to sound like an album. Like I don't remember ever thinking about actually releasing that.
Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't.
We had a friend with a studio. That's the only reason why we did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, this whole thing of I guess it's just tough psychologically to be a past band member I mean, I'm sure every single one of them has a lot of beef with us.
And to me, they all have a point. They were very instrumental, and some of them, John and Greg, probably look at the videos that they did with us when they were no longer in the band.
Really
kickstarted all our stuff. So it didn't though, because you can't delete all the years before.
Sure.
So everybody has a part in what we got. But it's just,
well, they all got paid too, for their time. It's like nobody donated their time to us. That never happened.
And nobody did more than the minimum. That's another thing with everybody. They only did the minimum. They try to even not carry gear.
John Nadell is the only person who's ever not done the minimum.
Yeah.
In the history of the band.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Also, the only Jewish member.
Yeah, but if you remember, we used to have a thing with almost every band member. Ian also didn't do the minimum. Ian also did a bunch for us because he used to call papers and stuff. So Ian and John.
Sure.
But if you think about...
But I think the person who's less resentful about, like, who's most accepting of us now is Jay. Like
Ian also is pretty good.
Yeah, Ian. I feel like they like don't care. They're happy, kind of. They're like, yeah, whatever. I feel like Ian has some unresolved issues about it.
Well, with Jay, the way it ended, it's like, I don't know what to say about it. It's just kind of weird.
He came out as kind of an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist.
Let's not bring it up. It was kind of weird.
In front of us, it was pretty
It was very weird. But it's fine. We're fine. We've seen him since. It's all good.
Well, it is all good. It was just funny. We're like in this parking lot, and he was just started. I mean, like, I don't know what internet blog.
We were driving, and let's not get into it.
I don't want to get deep into it. I just want to say that, like it wasn't like I'm with Hitler. It was more like oh yeah, like the Jews built Nazi space pyramids,
and the Holocaust didn't happen. Yeah, stuff like that.
Anyway, like I don't know if we're comfortable.
It was kind of weird. Anyway. They did so much of a minimum that they would not carry the guitar amps or stuff like that. They would just try and carry their gear. So Danny and I would, when we pack the van, would hide their gear behind the guitar gear and behind like our merch. Yeah, because we wouldn't carry merch either. So it's like we would try to make it impossible for them to get their gear without carrying our gear.
In like seeing the passive aggressive things people do and then like creating a situation that's totally ridiculous around it. So yeah, I mean, what Danny's saying is it happened with Greg, especially when he would like get upset and only carry the drum stuff and not help
Greg and John, because they were really...
We would Tetris the shit out of it. It would be like saxophone, guitar cab, everything just blocking their gear to where they have to pick it up to throw it, and then we just look at them and then they go, oh, fuck, like, and carry it inside there. Yeah, a little...
That was the most union we got, which is... like it was the most like us and them. Yeah, I think we got, which is kind of weird, but whatever.
I don't know. I'm gonna tell a not politically correct story, but I have to. It really ended with John and Greg when we were touring to New Orleans, and Greg brought his girlfriend, who was
no.
What?
Don't tell that story.
No?
No.
The first one? No?
No.
Okay. The woke mob got me. All right. I'm not going to tell that story. I just saved our Facebook account to not join our Instagram account.
And YouTube account. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it was very strange the way it ended. Also, we were already looking... If John doesn't know, I was already talking to bass players before he quit.
Yeah. Well, no, we were super unhappy with
John.
With John specifically.
Yeah, I was talking to bass players already.
That was that formation of the band, which is funny because they play on our most successful album in a lot of ways. Like especially for like the jam band community, people like that, they love aggressive hippies the most. And that was the formation of the band where where we were the least happy and the least free as players, because Greg would do a lot of weird shit in his fills, and John would like just have bad time and like not a good tone.
Yeah, we'll
touch.
just play stuff.
Yeah, it was like as if you're trying to be like a sprint runner, and you had one guy jumping on you and trying to drag you down, and the other one throw hurdles in front of you. Very challenging times musically. I mean. Yeah, I mean,
we did. But listen, I also liked a lot of stuff about Greg's playing, and I want to keep him.
He was our drummer that drummers liked the most. He was the most like a kind of a 2021 modern drummer that does all the. He listened to Mark Juliana and all he had a touch of hipness to him that our music really never had.
Not
before.
As a person.
No, not as a person. Never had before or after. But
yeah, but I didn't want to keep him, and but John kind of poisoned him, and his girlfriend kind of poisoned him against us, because Greg came to me like a month before that and was like, and told me that Marbin was the best thing that ever happened to him, and been in Marbin, and how grateful he is that it happened, and then by the end of it, he couldn't see us anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird how it happens. It's always the fucking girlfriends or fiancés or something.
It's a lot of time, and again, it's all, like and also the bass. The bassist.
It's just like men, like when men get tired at night, and like they're like not. It's like not the good. Whispering of their significant other like mixes with your subconscious. It's like, oh, they're not paying.
I just think it's not good. When the bassist and drummer are too good of friends.
No, yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah, they get this ape together strong mentality, and
it's because Danny and I are so tight. It's like it's not good if they are tight as well, because when they have like us and again, us
it's
and
a union
kind
mentality
of thing, and that's what happened.
And it's like they try to get the most for doing the least.
And they complain about stuff that
but not. I think also the women. That's how it starts, and then the women seal the deal, because they're just like.
Well, John's girlfriend at the time would tell him things like, she played oboe.
Danny's amateur.
Yeah, she's like, Danny amateur, and she's like, Danny Rabin, always lashes, and Danny's amateur doesn't look right. It's like, you can do it with your own band. Why won't you start your own band?
It's like fucking, it's Jafar's stick. It's talking to...
Iago, it's Iago.
Yeah, it is Iago. Yeah, it's it always becomes that. And
then we break up with him. No, I think actually Greg married his girlfriend. Man.
Did he?
Yeah.
I'm actually happy for them. They deserve each other. But it's funny. You get into these weird situations. Also, like our dynamic. There's a big like in one way we are not a democracy, far from it, and there's a lot of professional distance and really power distance in the decision-making process in the organization, but zero actual distance. We're all in a van together. We're sharing hotel rooms.
No, we do negotiate a lot of stuff. It's just very stuff that's non-negotiable.
I'm saying the situation itself is a little insane, and when you're in an insane situation, like these conflicts kind of arise organically.
But again, to me, other than Ian and Justin, everybody knew what we're getting into.
Right.
But
knowing what you're getting into verbally,
they don't understand it.
Like I know. Not the same.
Well, some people just don't have as good as imaginations, and some others.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like John Nadell really, I don't think he knew in advance what it's going to be like, but I feel like he was the most open-minded. Like he was prepared.
For him, it was a little bit hard too, but it was.
We were hard for him. Like he just didn't understand that he's re-entering high school and people are going to bust his balls all day long.
Yeah, but he got used to it. But he got fine. Yeah, he was fine pretty quickly. Blake couldn't sleep. Blake, before he joined us, because he never slept outside of home somehow.
He practiced.
He slept at home on the couch to practice.
Yeah. And then we had to take him to the hospital immediately, the first tour, and nothing was wrong with him.
Yeah, and my wife was like, this guy is not okay in the head. And we're like, no, he's fine.
He's great.
Fine.
He's a great guy.
And then a year later, we told her, oh my God, he's not. This guy's not okay in the head. Why didn't you say anything?
I just remember it was like the third day of the first tour, and he's like showing me a picture of his shit
Poop.
in the toilet with blood. It's like, is there
Is this
supposed to be
normal?
blood? It's like, that's no.
Is this normal?
No, but the truth is, he just ate so much hot food.
Nothing with that guy's normal. So why would your shit be different? What do you do that's normal? Is there anything that you do that's normal? Do you say normal words?
That shit was
Do you,
hilarious.
do you drink normal drinks? What's normal about you?
Yeah,
But your shit would be normal.
Not
Yeah.
much. Did you? What did you think about Honeysuckle Rose? I know it's a deep turn, but like we're doing a gypsy jazz album, and I think it's turning out to be pretty fucking badass.
I think it's good. It was one of the songs that I kind of was worried about because I don't usually like play on it that much.
It's a weird song. It is a weird song. For those of you who don't know that one, it's a Scrapple from the Apple. It's like the same song in bebop.
Yeah. But it's hard to compare because to me bebop playing is very different than like I know obviously there is a lot of stuff that's in common, but it's just because once you introduce drums, everything is different. So I started working on Seeing My Dreams. I couldn't finish it. I thought I'm gonna have more time and didn't have enough time. And
did you start tracking or?
yeah, I did. It took me. I had some issues with the cable, so it took me forever. So I want to do like 2 more takes before I look at what I have. So I didn't listen to it yet. But once you introduce drums, everything is different. Because for example, I'm not super into soprano. Once you have jazz drums and you play a hard bop, but tenor to me in ballads works great in that style of music, but like even Seeing My Dreams, I didn't like how it...
Too heavy?
Yeah.
Yeah, soprano, I mean, in early jazz, that was like the shit, like Sidney Bechet and people like that, really...
Yeah, but I'm saying it makes a lot of sense.
It made sense with that kind of rhythm section.
Alto also makes sense. Soprano and alto makes sense.
Alto, I don't understand why there wasn't a modern famous alto guy like Kenny Garrett, I guess, but I mean, other than
Miguel Zenon.
Yeah, like I know Miguel Zenon. I've heard him a million times. But
He's
when I
actually
say
good.
his name, I can't think of a single line, melody, or song. Nothing comes to mind. Like I don't. When I say John Coltrane or Charlie Parker or Michael Brecker, I can almost like touch their playing, but I have no idea what he sounds like, even though I heard him a billion times.
Miguel Zenon is like out Charlie Parker.
I know. It's like Charlie Parker in the wrong key.
Yeah, but I like it. So compared to other people, I like, but it's not something about his playing is not super compelling. Like I don't like when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, I kind of like it, but then I know you don't like it, but I kind of like it, but nothing makes me wanna listen to it again.
Yeah.
And even some people that I don't like, something about their playing, I'm like, I have to check it out again.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
But maybe also he's paying the price for getting the Genius grant.
That's right. Yeah, like a full.
Oh, I played. I'm trying to remember why we were talking about it. To remember how it came up. Maybe Jana is she got a notification that she's nominated for some prize for the book already, and
Danny's wife wrote a book.
It's a good amount of money, but if she wins, but when we were talking about some prizes, and I don't remember if she complained about somebody that won a different one and now how this prize is all. So I was telling her about the MacArthur Genius. Is this MacArthur?
It's one of those
MacArthur.
that the lady in
I'm
Portland.
kidding. Yeah, and when I played her the Tiny Desk concert of a lady that won.
The jazz composer, guitarist.
Yeah, how much? 250 to 75, something like that.
$275,000.
Yeah, and I played her, and she's like, "You have to turn it off right now. This is the worst." It's like, "Is this on purpose? Are we doing it on purpose?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, actually, the people here are pretty known." Because she had Johnny Rabagan playing saxophone, and she was like, "Why does it sound like that?" I was like,
genius.
Only smart people can understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's that shit reminds me of like those stories of like a Google executive buying, a painting of like a piece of shit. Like looks like somebody farted the paint on a canvas for like $3 million. It's like investing in commodities.
It's. I think I talked about in a different podcast about Bukowski talked about the average genius of the crowd, but that kind of a genius of the crowd in that aspect, that when it's one person, or even worse, if it's a committee of 8 people, their decisions are so outrageous that no person can understand them.
It's nuts.
And the problem with prizes, it's the same thing about the Grammys, why it's like people don't like if you talk shit about the Grammys. Is because, why? Because you think you're better? Yes. First of all, yes. I do think I'm better.
Because if you got one, you wouldn't talk shit about it.
Yeah, I know, of course. But if I got one, then maybe the Grammys wasn't stupid because I gave it to somebody that deserves it instead of it to piece of shit. I remember I always check the jazz solo. And I remember a couple of years ago, Chris Potter had a jazz ballad solo that was so out and terrible. And I was like, he wouldn't pick that solo. Out of all his solos that I don't like, he would pick a different solo.
Right.
Like, that solo fucking sucks.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think but that's the classic paradox of famous people, where people will elevate you to a place where you no longer can produce the things that got you there. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, Chris Potter is not in that place.
No, specifically no. But I'm saying that it's like the trap that young rock musicians fall into, that they do something that has success, but they know very little, and instead of kind of keep going with the trajectory of learning some stuff about music, finding out what's there,
learning another chord once a year.
Yeah, learning a new melodic trick, improving their technique, improving their vocabulary. They get into this place of trying to reproduce the magic. Like, they think that there was some sort of authenticity in a thing they felt when they were like 19 and a half that they have to tap back into to draw more success.
Well, you can write a great song with C, F, and G.
Right.
But after a while, you're going to run out of C, F, and G songs.
Well, or not. You can write them forever, but you're not going to,
Yeah, but I'm saying if you don't work on your imagination,
right,
it's just, you're going to stop. You see it, even with all the tools we have as players, if you don't develop, you become worse. It's just, that's the way it is. You have to always try and find new stuff.
Yeah, it is the newness that allows for that door to open into composition, into wanting to memorialize something like a series of notes.
And you can still write we can still write. We just thought we have a song in the new set that we haven't played in a year, that it's basically very similar to Redline, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that different. So you can still write stuff that's simple, but if we just wrote that simple stuff, you get stuck after a while. You need to refresh your brain.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I feel like right now, yesterday I was teaching a lesson, and somebody mentioned, a student of mine mentioned Peter Frampton, who I don't really know too well. I always thought he was an okay guitar, he's one of the better rock guitarist guys. And I was listening. He told me about a blues album he just did, and I was listening.
Didn't we listen to it together?
No, I just listened to it last night. It's brand new. Or he plays Georgia on My Mind and a few things.
What was the blues album that we listened to? It was a shred guy playing blues, I think. And it was just ridiculous. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
We heard it, I think, on our duo tour. We went to a guitar store. I don't remember which city it was. Tiny guitar store.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Maybe, it was in Columbus, I think. Tiny guitar store in Columbus. The shred guy made a blues album, and it sounded like such a joke.
No.
Never mind. No. Okay.
So I was listening, and it's weird because, these people are so rich that their albums sound
the best.
It's everything there is made with with pieces of gear that are worth, each guitar is a house, in some sort of crazy studio with crazy microphones with the best people doing everything. But these people are just kind of, it's like old fishing buddies having fun with their friends. That's the vibe I'm getting. You know what I mean? They're not out there really like Peter Frampton is no longer gaining interesting life experiences that relate to anybody. You know, it's like he's like, you know, just super rich people raising their grandchildren. It's just great. It's a great life, but it's hard to make something, you know, to speak to the human condition from that place.
I feel like you can probably do it, but a lot of stuff, you know what I feel a lot of times? You're talking about the people that get to play on the albums, for example.
Huh?
The people that get to play on the albums. Imagine one of your favorite drummers, Dennis Chambers, okay? And one of your bass players, let's say Victor Wooden. Right? And they also play together in bands.
But they would play so generically on that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, imagine that we do all the albums. Would it be better?
I don't think so.
Even though you like
it's immune.
Objectively and subjectively, you like both of them more than almost anybody else.
No, that kind of music is just immune to goodness. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, I look at a guy that I love, like Paul McCartney, and I mean, I don't even like Wings. Like, you know, it's like, I can't, the last time he did something I liked must have been the 70s. And he's like in this phase where he looks like the little prince with like lots of, you know, plastic surgery now, walking around with a cape and you know, and he performs all that stuff beautifully still. Probably, I don't know how he is now, but like 5 years ago, still singing his ass off and doing all that shit. But like to produce something new, it just doesn't seem like they're connected to that wavelength anymore, you know? Or, I mean, it seems like very few people actually in the world are.
There's also there's a very different attitude when people come to get a paycheck and when people come and are trying to be a part of something creative and great.
Right.
And it's with a lot of us famous people, and not even just famous people. It what happens, we talked about what happened with Oz Noy, right? A few podcasts ago. Oz Noy and his and Vinny in Sweetwater.
No, I don't think we actually mentioned the fight between them. So we were told that they were doing a track, like a recording workshop /
Now I feel like is somebody going to send to them?
Nah, it's fine.
I guess.
So yeah, somebody told us that like there was a real awkward, tense moment where Vinny and
somebody that was in the audience told us.
Yeah, Vinny Colaiuta and Oz Noy were fighting about a musical part, and you know, and this shit got really heated. And then I heard the song, and it was so funny because it's like a shuffle, like boom.
Yeah, Danny sent it to me, and it was like, "What part do you think it was?"
Like, and then the melody goes da da ba 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 ba, and it's just there's this clash between the drums and the guitar, and you could tell that Vinny Colaiuta did not like the musical choice and was like basically saying, this is so bad, we have to change this. I see what's written, but I'm not going to play it as written. And Oz Noy was like, no, that's how I want it. And he did what many of our drummers have done to us in the past, which is an Italian strike. Which is
what Steve Wadby told us. He said you'd have to let people play the way they play.
Right. You got if you get to an aesthetic crossroad where somebody hates what you're asking him to do, just let him do his thing. Don't insist.
Well, we
because he did a part that clashed so much with the part, and he did nothing wrong. You know, he did what he was asked, but it's not. You can't. The truth is, you can't ask people to do what they're supposed to do on their instrument because it's intricate. There's a million ways to do something shittily and badly.
Well,
it doesn't
more
work.
Than that. It's more than that because I was talking about Greg. Me and Greg had this specific conversation a million times. I always say, listen, if we tell you to do something that you don't like, that's fine. You don't have to do it. Do something else. But if you do something we don't like, you also have to do something else until we find something we both like.
Right.
And there is something we both like.
Yeah, I mean, people, you know, have asked me a lot of times, like, what kind of freedom does the rhythm section have in Marbin? I mean, and I say, it's like they have the freedom to play something I like, and if they don't, they have the freedom to try again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it's like we have to get to a place where we agree on what is good.
Yeah, but we don't do stuff almost never. We never really do stuff as tell people, hey, play that and that's it. I don't care what you have to say.
No.
That never happens.
No.
And you can see it with our drummers. They all play with our own style. We don't make any of our drummers play like the other drummer. So the band changes dramatically when we change lineups. But you still have to do something that we like.
Yeah.
So at least in this aspect, Vinny kind of tried to at least be like, hey, this is kind of strange.
Right. And then he just played the time, which is like, this is basically if you ever want to if you want to know what fuck you sounds like in drums, it's when a fusion drummer just plays. That's an Italian. That's I fucking hate you, you little bitch. Right? It's just like, it's just such a fuck you, And it's hilarious because it's amazing to me those parts where music can communicate something verbal I know from life so clearly. Like I just know those kind of conflicts with the drummer.
Yeah, we had the same thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, but
Greg did it to us literally in Johnson City in the Acoustic Cafe that's closed now in COVID.
Incredible moment where he was so pissed at us that he just, for a whole show, he was just holding time. Just literally, if the song was Redline, it would go like, and we were just like, all right, fuck it. But we were just like shredding over it, and then like after we just played it cool, didn't even acknowledge
the show was great.
And then we're like, yeah, you played great, thanks.
Dude, it was so easy to play today. Yeah, awesome.
Whatever you
job.
did, I don't know. Whatever you like, maybe less fills. Did you do less fills? Dude, it's they just don't know. Like not to fuck with us. We just double down on everything.
Yeah. So I'm saying about Peter Frampton, it's like we think about, I'll just hire the best drummer and the best vet and the best thing. Again, I didn't listen to his album, so maybe his album's good. I'm just saying.
It's not bad, but it's again, it's the things that sound like things mentality. It sounds like a great album. You know what I mean? He was like, I'm sure he's like, the songs sound like great songs. The guitar playing sounds like great guitar playings, and the album sounds like a great album. The singing sounds like great singing. But everything is like it, nothing is it. Yeah. And that's the real problem. Like you listen to Queen, those are great albums. Those are great songs done perfectly. Elton John, Billy Joel. I don't even like Elton John very much, but those are great albums done perfectly where everybody's still experimenting and pushing the technology, not just like a bunch of people who YouTubed, who like just everything is so automatic now, and the good sound is so predetermined. That's what I really felt like. All these albums with that acoustic guitar bright, and you can hear it's almost like you hear the attack of the pick against the string mixing perfectly with the snare drum, and just it's so rich, it's so boring. Like these people just have too many tools. Everything's too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about it because they would do things. Billy Joel would do things like bring Phil Woods. Even though I kind of like when he has his own saxophone player. I don't remember his name, Italian guy. But yeah, I don't know. It's like you have to be excited about the music, and I don't know if Peter Frampton is excited about the blues album.
I don't know anything about him, but I'm saying the vibe I was getting was that like even when there was slop in there, it was put in there to appear real. It was like, it was to put sloppiness in like a real album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like the sound of the keys and the saxophone that you're just like, leave it in, it's cool.
Oh, it's mostly like, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's like
when we record it.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. We're in the same room, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, just this level of control, really. That's what it is. It's just we're in an era of time where the dialability of everything is so extreme.
Specifically with blues, because we're doing a standard album now, which is kind of similar in the vibe. So we're really trying to avoid that exact trap of being like make it into a novelty. We're still trying to make good music that's us.
Yeah, shred the shit out of the song and do it your way.
Yeah, and also make good music. It's not, I don't know, maybe they think we do the same. I'm a little bit confused about it because it's like, I don't know, like, hey, you know what, I should do a blues album. It's like, are you going to listen to your own blues album even? Like, do you listen to it after you're done?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's the we're bringing rock back mentality.
Yeah, I don't
You know
know.
what we should do? Get the boys back together again and do it for real. Like, I don't know, but hey, more power to him. And he did do some good things. He played Georgia instrumental, and he had like a lot of the kind of blues playing that you play over changes that you could only do if you don't know the chords.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, there's a lot of excitement there because as a person who knows harmony, I'm like, how's he going to hit a note that sounds good on the G7?
Yeah, I was about to say.
He got it. You know, it's like, wow. It's like, he just bent it right in there. That's great. So it's kind of, like when you see a rock player playing on it, it's a lot like seeing a gladiator, like just being like thrown there to like fight a fucking grizzly bear without a sword. It's like, how's he gonna do that? He doesn't have the tools to slay this thing. And then he's just like, jumping on his head, choking him from behind. It's like, wow, that's a really inventive dude, So that there's a lot of drama.
There's no way he didn't play some weird notes on the song.
Some of them were weird, but like it really felt.
It kind of worked.
Yeah. It totally worked. I mean, it totally kind of worked. You know what I mean? It didn't.
Like you would never play like that.
No, I know what the chords are.
Yeah.
Like, why would you play a pentatonic
I know.
over the 1-6-2-5?
Yeah.
But it's like he's just, he's kind of bending things.
Yeah, and he's getting into it.
And he's pushing the motif through.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of excitement there. And that's their drama. I mean, a lot of people won't agree that this is what's happening. But what you're seeing somebody fishing. And fishing can be exciting.
Well, yeah. And to be fair, a lot of times I would play a blues on those chords, but I wouldn't play a blues before and after.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a tool that you use, but it's not like, hey, I'm playing blues on the entire fucking thing. So
I don't know. When a 4 minor chord comes and you're playing a blues on the tonic, you have to have some deep balls to like keep fishing. And I mean, I'm sure there's just a lot of takes, and like sometimes like he just hits a fucking like the major third on that minor chord, and he's just like, hey, new take. It's so funny, man. I was just listening. I made a resolution that I'm gonna stop listening to podcasts because I was getting way like, especially talky podcasts like ours. Listening to all political stuff and philosophical stuff, and I was just like, man, none of these people are saying anything new. So I started listening to just music instead when I'm walking my dog and when I'm driving, and listening a ton of bebop, and I have the Charlie Parker station on shuffle. Just like all the stuff, and I was hearing him playing some rhythm changes, and like he was just crushing it, and then he started playing this really weird augmented chord arpeggio on this thing, and it just didn't fit. It's like, wow, I can't believe he kept it, and like he keeps playing like 5 bars, and then he's like, hey, take. I was like, wow, I called it, because it didn't make sense. After listening to like so much of his discography, that one lick, like I was just like, that doesn't, like I was like, I can't believe he kept it. That doesn't sound like a Charlie Parker album all of a sudden. And then he's like, whoa, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't sound like a Charlie Parker album. And that's the kind of editing I like, where you just play some whack shit because it happens, and you're just like, you know what? Fuck it, that's not making it on the record. That's cool.
How bad is the recording quality on Charlie Parker stuff?
I'm used to it. I like it now.
Yeah. I'm used to it just because I heard it so many
The sweet spot
times.
is really Coltrane. The sweet spot is kind of blue.
Yeah.
Like they just had all those nice Neumann mics. Everything was multi-track.
And things are clear already. The drums sound really nice.
The drums sound great.
Yeah, I love it.
That's the best era. Yeah. They really fucked up in the 70s.
Yeah. Jazz from the 70s, 80s is kind of fucking shit.
Yeah, well, I think it's really the bass. Like they got too close, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear those fingers. Like Eddie Gomez sound, like the piezo pickups.
Eddie Gomez specifically has the worst sound, and his solos on everything are so bad. I do not get it.
Yeah.
How that's how you see that you have to have producers. Like, not that you have, that's a producer thing. It's like Michel Petrucciani. really one of the best. To
Piano
me,
players in history.
top two. Like him and Oscar Peterson are my favorite piano players. Like he is so good and is I don't know. He's just really, really unique. It's really something else. And there is no way he doesn't hear that Eddie Gomez just playing shit over his music
Right.
when he's soloing.
Yeah. Straight up taking a dump.
It's like he didn't become
You can't
deaf
play
all of a
like
sudden.
that and not hear lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm paid to be here. He was paid to be there. There was
Which one of them? All of them.
all of them. It was even in the 70s when it was your thing. You were hired in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You had a management company.
And a producer and everything. Yeah, that's
feel
what I'm
like
saying.
they were working for you probably. It felt like you were working for them.
You are working for them.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. The money people were just, they're imposing their will, and you're like, I'm sure he chose to play with Eddie Gomez. Probably Eddie Gomez.
Yeah.
Eddie Gomez looks like he was a fun guy to hang out with. He also has a fun name.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure they had I'm sure they had fun together. And also, I'm pretty sure that getting Ray Brown on your gig or Paul Chambers came, there was a big generational gap there. And
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the cross generation thing.
Yeah,
And I know it from us with Paul and Steve. It's just not the same.
Yeah, taking Paul and Steve, Paul
It
Warrior
was
and
fun,
Steve
but
Rodby,
it's like-
we would never take them on the road. You have to take care of them, and it's like they have great stories, but I don't know. It's like then the dynamic between people that want to hang out isn't like tell me your stories all day.
It's so fragile. Like you can say the wrong thing or get them the wrong
Offend them.
pizza, and they're so offended it's done. It's not the same.
Yeah, no, I need somebody whose balls I can bust, and bust is my ball. I'm totally okay. John bust my balls too.
It needs to be. You need to play with people your own age, more or less.
or slightly younger if you're running.
You're only
ship.
well, we're 35. John is 28.
Yeah.
Right. Everett is a little bit younger, 25, something like that.
27, I think.
27. Yeah. Right. Never mind. So yeah, we're all around an age that makes sense.
Right.
Like try and hang out with a 20-year-old now, and you'll be like, ugh.
Fuck, I can't imagine.
I know. So I'm not saying you have to be born in the same months like we did, but you need to be around the same era.
I can't imagine fucking that this is what this world, with the COVID lockdowns and shit. This is your college experience, and then you just find yourself out in the world, trying to work, trying to be a musician after having been taking Zoom lessons, no gigs for years. Imagine if you're graduated from high school, you played in a jazz band, and this happened, and now you're 2 years deep in college. Do you even dream of touring? Everybody just wants to be a YouTuber.
My niece, she's 14 years old, and she wanted to go, or she still wants to go to this international school program, and she speaks great English, so she can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But she told me that for people that went this year, they kept the program, but everybody stayed home and didn't on Zoom. So you basically...
What's international about it?
That usually, or...
No, now.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. They just had to do everything in English, people from all over the world.
Inertia is just the guiding force of life. Dude, it's the most amazing thing, because I get a lot of students, especially now really a ton. I have a lot of new ones, I think, because I started
From
the
YouTube?
YouTube thing.
Yeah.
And people, it creates a totally different dynamic when you stream there for some reason. And there's something very, very strange happening right now with what students expect to happen in the exchange.
In the lesson?
In a lesson, yeah, because I think that I've talked about this before, but YouTube created a situation where all the information is there, but there's no real way of discerning the right from the wrong. And also, there's something weird where the only thing that's worse than people lying to you is people telling you the truth and it not making any change. You know, when you get absolutely the truth of what you should be working on, but it doesn't change anything about how you play, that's the most frustrating thing. And I think I'm in the business of transformation personally, but the truth about growth is that most days you don't really have the opportunity for change to happen. I don't see it. Something needs to happen. There are these moments, aha moments, moments of opening where you need to seize, where all of a sudden you can break out of a pattern. It's almost like a person who's depressed or something, and they're totally in a cycle with their depression, and they know that they don't want to be there. Everything, but like it's a closed loop, and there are these things one day. For some people, when things are over, there is an escape.
Listen, the problem is no matter what your vice is, personally or musically, you're gonna have, I don't want to use the word community, you're gonna have a ton of people on the internet that will make you dig deeper into that vice. Yes. Okay, so no matter what hole you're in, you're gonna find a lot of cheerleaders being like, dig deeper. So if you for example, you don't really know scales and modes well, right? I'm not even saying the way we define them, I'm saying just the way somebody defines them. Because to me, I found it very easy to teach somebody like, a good example was Ian and Dan, that I taught both of them how to play on changes kind of, because they had a lot of information that wasn't organized well. So it was just, hey, look how I organize it, you can organize it like that as well, and it's going to be easier for you guys. And they did, and it was very quick. And you could immediately notice the change in music. But a lot of people that don't have that information that would hear things like, hey, you don't want to play, don't be one of those players that playing scales up and down. This is not this is not how good players play. Nobody does that. Like, do whatever you do. It's like you need to think about melodies from within and all this shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, I think there are two elements, and this isn't spoken about when people actually make changes in their life. One of them, which the internet is not bad at, is the resolution. Right? Like you make the resolution that you're going to do something. But that could be dangerous territory, because if you do it too much and you don't act on it, it becomes, you stop believing yourself. It's like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to take up running.
It's more of it. They did a test. I will talk about social studies.
That you get the endorphins.
Yeah, but you get the endorphins, and the children that got too much positive stuff when I don't remember, we did some tasks, they wouldn't do anything because they already got endorphins, and they have to get a lot of endorphins to move.
The idea of going to the gym and making the change makes you excited, but the work never happens. But that's one thing. So that making the resolutions is a part of it, but it's not the only part of it. And there's a much more elusive thing that really nobody talks about, which is the catalyst. You know what I mean? The thing in reality that makes you sit down and today do something different than all the other days. And the truth is, it's a mysterious thing, and we don't know too much about that.
Well, what's the problem is that I don't think you need a degree to teach music, but if you need a degree to teach music, you need a degree in psychology. Because you know how...
That's a funny thing to tell you about that, yeah.
You know how basically if you go to a psychologist, you need a psychologist, right? That's the logic that psychologists have. Like if you're here,
you probably need one, right?
You probably need one.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you know if somebody needs it. But the problem is once somebody is on the couch or on your couch, about music, is that they don't want to face the demons that they have, and they don't want to face reality, and they don't want to do the hard work, and good psychologists would somehow lead somebody to do it. And with music teachers, you're somehow supposed to lead somebody to do it, but there's so much that's psychology there that it's impossible.
I had a student last week, and he's a working musician. He plays a lot, and he plays in tribute bands. And I'm teaching him a lot about jazz, and he's really improving. And he's like playing all these Wes Montgomery chord solos now, and like doing cool shit. And he started off being just kind of a rock guy. And COVID, all the gigs got canceled. Now things are opening up again, and he. Basically, we were talking, we were just doing a lesson, and we started talking, and he was saying, well, this band's starting to book gigs again, but I don't know. It's like, I love playing with them, but some of it feels very unsatisfying, And, I really feel like I should use the time to get a band together, to start doing original music, to do this. And like, does it pay? It's like, yeah, it pays great, and he was like, I'm thinking about quitting it. And, for me, I was just like, do not, like, you can always reject one gig for the sake of another.
That makes the person.
He's in his 40s.
Okay.
I think late 40s, something like that. But to me, it makes perfect sense to say no to one gig. For, like, if somebody said, "Hey, go on tour with Miley Cyrus," I don't even know if she's around, but that's how old I am. My references are there. Or do this Marbin tour. I'm probably going to do the Marbin tour, like nine, unless the money is insane, But like, there would need to.
Yeah, but if it will be I think no. If it will be, hey, come play it with Miley Cyrus, I'll be like, hey, go play with Miley Cyrus, and we'll do a tour after. But if they would say, hey, come do 2 years with Miley Cyrus,
it would be a no.
You'll be like, thank you.
But I'm saying both things are tangible choices I'm choosing between. But what I told my student, which I think is always the move, it's like, first of all, making a living is important. He's not rich, and the second thing is that this free time is Peter Pan. Like, it's a paradoxical thing that the more free time, like, if you have if you made it to the age of 45 and you don't have a band playing originals, it means that something in your life has not really guided you into that direction, and maybe you will, and when you do, you should do the accounting with your time between the two things. But up till that point, take the thing that's there as opposed to, because the free time tends to turn into Netflix and internet porn.
Well, also is people that another argument that I had with Ben all the time. People, when you look at other people's lives, and the less you have your shit together, the more you want to tell everybody else how to live their lives. That's just a rule of thumb. But when you look at other people's jobs, it's very clear to you. Like, if I look at what it's like being even a doctor, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, I had better grades with a lot of the doctors I know. I have better, like, whatever SATs or whatever than a lot of the doctors I know. I would just go to school and, just go through it and be a doctor. I was like, yeah, maybe. But maybe a lot of the stuff that would happen there, I will just not be able to take. Maybe I would be like, I can't see another sick person.
Right.
And listen to their shit again. I cannot do it.
Yeah.
So when people look at... we get it all the time. Musicians get it all the time because usually people in your family make more money and they're not musicians. So like, oh, what's the problem? Just call this place and do this. And why don't you play those gigs that make money? And why won't you be on TV? And why won't you do this? And why don't you do that? And why won't you talk to the right person? And it's like, you guys wouldn't even get out the door. Like, you would get stuck before learning how to play the instrument.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's people, you don't see the hardship. Like, you think you see the hardship. It's what I...
Yeah. I mean, it's a long road, and like these people don't even see the beginning of the path.
It's people, I'll tell you, I see all the time doing things like playing army, like doing army, like be in army shape or do the Tough Mudder or whatever it is. Like, you don't understand. Being in the army is not it's not about being in good shape.
It's not lifting.
Yeah. It's not about how many push-ups you can do. Yes, you can do. I could do a lot of push-ups when I was in the infantry, but it's more about the accumulative thing that you have years to come, that you have years, but you have to stay up 20 hours, and then you have to put your uniform on after 20 hours, you have 10 minutes to go shower, and the shower is cold, and then you go out and you're immediately covered with sand, and you go sleep in a tent, and after 2 hours and you have to wake up for half an hour, and then you go back to sleep an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And they count it like you slept 4 hours, and it's just, and it's never ending, and there is always shit. That's what it's like. So in life, you think you see what's hard. So he thinks, oh yeah, I'll get a band together. Dude, you don't know what it's like talking to musicians about doing stuff like that.
Right.
And when you do stuff that doesn't pay well, it's like you don't understand what it's like to deal with those musicians.
The type of shit you have to deal with, like, on a daily basis when you're in that.
Dude, do you remember what it was like? I deal with venue owners, And now it's not hard. Like, I feel like now you would have no problem doing it.
Sure.
But in the beginning, you remember what it was like, just going and asking for the money, how much pressure it was?
Yeah.
Like
After, like in a place that didn't do too well.
Yeah, I know that some
trying to
people,
talk
even
about money.
even in places that do okay, I know some bands don't go and talk and ask for the money.
Right.
Because it's so awkward and weird.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, people don't have the do you know what it's like to get a van and then it's breaking?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like,
you get a lot of life experience. The point I was trying to make with that story is that my student told me that that he schedules my lesson, and then he has a Zoom therapist, like a psychologist that he sees just to help him out in life and in general, and that we resolved the issues that he was going to talk to the psychologist about in our lesson, because he's going to take the gig and he doesn't know what he's going to talk to her about now. He's like, shit, I guess I have to talk about my parents again. Oh man. But yeah, I don't know.
But that's what it feels like to me with teaching. Unless you teach in high schoolers, which is the only real time that you can teach, I feel like, that you can teach somebody. But it's probably, I think, that because I never taught high schoolers. I had maybe one or two.
I had I had one great middle schooler, Ben. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
He was a great student.
How old was he?
I had him from the time he was 13 or maybe 12 to the time he was 15, I think.
Okay, so you had him
couple of years.
Half in high school.
Yeah, and he was like like that age where you still obviously can't play anything, but you could really get into the, like, I could say like, hey man, check out Tribal Tech, and he'd come back the week later and be like, oh my God, it's the best thing. And I just I want to feel that again. You know what I mean? Just like, yeah, you got it. You really got it. Because that's the most important shit. Like, if you can get excited about guitar playing, about a solo, like you hear Stevie Ray Vaughan for the first time, it's just like...
You also are not connected to reality. One of the things that I hate the most about the world of content and about new musicians is how connected they are to the yucky reality, like to this disgusting reality where it's going on all the time. Like, when everything they do with... you know how when people... I think we talked about last time maybe, about how people go in with Tetons and all they see is selfie opportunities, like we'll make a great picture for social media. So it's the same thing. They practice stuff, and wanting it or not, they think, oh, that will be a great link for Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that will be great content for YouTube, whatever it is.
Right.
And I think that's one of the reasons that we don't do it. It's just because I'm happy that we don't do it, because I don't want to look at my playing out of this prism, like, hey, I can
teach this for, I'll probably get 20,000 hits. It's disgusting. Yeah, I don't know. One of my biggest pet peeves with students is when I show them music that I like I don't know, like Vital Tech Tones, or like something that meant a lot to me as a kid, and I'm like, yeah, check out this solo, and then they come back to me, it's like, yeah, it was cool. It's like, it was cool. That's what it was. It was cool. It's like, what have you made? It's like, you make something cool.
Yeah.
Like, fucking get your mind blown. You know what I mean? Get your fucking mind blown by music. Yeah, but if you're so callous to it, how do you think you're going to have the energy to like put in the time?
But people in that age that are not in high school, they already have so many psychological problems and issues that has to do with the world and their acceptance of music. It's just...
I know, but still find a way. If you're not excited about this, like, why... What cruel and senseless form of self-punishment it is to be in fusion if you don't
how long
like
is this
fusion.
podcast already? Okay, I definitely know what I want to talk about for the next podcast. So,
why? Oh,
this is long. Yeah, but it's too long to start now. So maybe we should just end this podcast on a cliffhanger.
That's quite the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys are hanging from the cliff. All right. So
and then we're gonna sit and be like, "Oh, he's talking about that thing again." So it's not.
I'm sick of these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Bandcamp Friday today. Go to our Bandcamp. We get 100% of the proceeds of everything you buy today, Friday the 2nd. and April 2nd.
But if you head after, just buy stuff and we'll get most of the proceeds on Bandcamp.
That's right. So it's marbinmusic.bandcamp.com. We're also now active on YouTube, which is youtube.com/marbinmusic.
Yeah, a lot of stuff coming.
/marbinmusic.
It was hard me to find time and the album, but I'm almost there at starting to do that thing I promised.
Okay.
So a lot of short lessons.
Danny will do short lessons, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.